All right, y'all, we are back with another video. And before we dive straight into this video, we already know all the things Donald Trump been going through all year long with the crazy indictments. Even though the mugshot just made his popularity go up even higher than what it already was. And it come to the point now, I come across the video, it said that even Joe Rogan can see the obvious truth now. I've been trying to tell people for the longest, man, that Joe Biden is corrupt. A lot of y'all, like a lot of the DEMS, they feel bad now. They upset because y'all was the one that voted for crooked Joe Biden. Now look what he done. Look what he done now. Every time you turn around, it's something going on with Joe Biden. He always messing something up. And everybody's starting to see that Donald Trump been telling the truth this whole entire time. Now they starting to see it. But us, we've been seeing it. We've been seeing it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. Everybody been leaving positive comments in the comment section. And I also want to thank everybody that clicked on this video for the very first time. Without further ado, let's dive straight into it. And let's see the reason why Joe Rogan finally sees the truth now about Donald Trump.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know what's really frustrating to deal with? The constant gaslighting of the left. It's so incredibly frustrating because they are constantly engaged in these ridiculous propaganda campaigns, which paint conservatives as a bunch of extreme, insane wackos, always playing emotional games and trying to slap labels on their political opponents. Extremist, racist, misogynist, every ism you could think of. And what's so frustrating is having to constantly be in this defensive position, knowing full well that there is no reason to be defensive in the first place. Because what we are talking about, what we stand for, what we have been arguing, and many of the warnings that we've been voicing, we're talking about just basic common sense. We're not talking about extremism. We're not talking about extreme views, bigoted views, outrageous policy stances. We're talking about basic frickin' common sense. I have a Joe Rogan clip that I want to show you guys as the feature clip for the video, which I think really helps me make that point. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so remember when Donald Trump came down that escalator at Trump Tower and he said this?
When do we beat Mexico at the border? They're laughing at us, at our stupidity. And now they're beating us economically. They are not our friend, believe me. But they're killing us economically. The U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. Thank you. It's true. And these are the best and the finest. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems. And they're bringing those problems with us.
Yep.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. And some, I assume, are good people. But I speak to border guards, and they tell us what we're getting. And it only makes common sense. It only makes common sense.
He kept saying, it only makes common sense. It only makes common sense. The amount of heat that Donald Trump took for his border policies was honestly unlike anything we had ever seen in modern day politics. But he was right. And it was common sense. And now it seems like a lot of people, even moderate left-wing people like Joe Rogan, are waking up.
You know, one of the things that people are really concerned with is like, what if terror cells have gotten in across the border? When you're letting in hundreds of thousands of people across the border, what are the odds that a few of them are terrorists? Well, haven't they caught terrorists at the border? Haven't they, like, caught terrorists, people on the terrorist watch list trying to get through? They have, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So how many of them snuck through? I mean, is there an accurate accounting, or is it like Ukraine spending? Do they even know the real numbers of people that are sneaking in? Because the numbers are cuckoo. The numbers are like hundreds of thousands a month. Have you seen the videos of the line of migrants making their way through the border? Mm-hmm. Like, who thought that was a good idea?
It's ridiculous.
Who thought that was a good idea to like let potential terrorists and criminals into the country?
That's why we need to build this wall, Joe.
Because if you don't, if you say that you're against that, you're racist,
Right.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
Wild. And you got to wonder how much of that is engineered by other countries, how much of that is like engineered social media outrage by Russia.
We went from Donald Trump is a racist nutcase to, well, you know, maybe he had a point. All of a sudden, now that Hamas is calling for a global day of jihad, all of a sudden, people are thinking, whoa, maybe it's a bad thing that we're allowing over 300,000 people a month, totally unvetted, totally unaccounted for, to simply cross over the border illegally and secretly entering the country. Yeah, maybe that wasn't a good idea. You know, la-di-da liberalism can only exist when times are good, you know? In a utopic world, no human is illegal and everything's a human right. Education, human right. Medicare, healthcare, human right. Housing, human right. Open borders, everything for everyone. But the moment shit gets a little bit real, like just a little bit real, you see how truly unsustainable, how ridiculous, how awful these leftist policies and these leftist stances really are. You know, the reality is we don't live in a utopia. We live in a very, very complicated world, and probably more relevant, a very dangerous world in a lot of ways. And Democrats have opened the door, they have opened the country to every danger that you can imagine. It's not just cartels. Part of that danger is, in fact, terror cells. Can we quantify that danger? Do we know that it's there absolutely? Of course not, and that's kind of the problem. We have absolutely no idea who's coming into the country. That is an absolutely insane policy, and the regret finally seems to be sinking in. Here's a viral clip with Henry Kissinger that's bouncing all over Twitter.
It was a grave mistake to let in so many people of totally different cultural and religious and concepts, because it creates a pressure group inside each country that does that.
Literally, the first thought that came to mind is, yeah, you think? You know, this idea of diversity being our strength simply makes no sense. Diversity is not our strength. Diversity is our weakness, you know?
Now, everybody's starting to see the truth. At first, they called Trump racist because he said something about the wall, building the wall. Oh, now everybody want us. You know what? All these people just coming up in here, they taking up all the hotels. I'm trying to remember, was it in Chicago that they said that all of illegal immigrants, they took up all the space in the hotels? You know what I'm saying? So Joe, that's why I be saying before, like, Joe Biden has to go. This is point blank period that this man don't know what he's doing. He don't know what he's doing. And Donald Trump did ask Joe Biden for an apology. I wonder, did Joe Biden ever get Trump his apology for saying something about, when he said something about building the wall was racist? And then all of a sudden now, since the Dems got on Biden butt, now he wants to build a wall. Now he want to try to stop him. The man don't know what he's doing. It's obvious. Even the Dems turned on him. Bill Maher, all of them starting to turn on him. They know the man don't know what he's doing. They already scared. They already know that Donald Trump is finna be back in office in 2024. So they might as well just go ahead and get prepared. Get prepared, because it's coming. It's definitely coming. Oh, boy. But now you see everybody is waking up. Even some of the people from the left have started to wake up and see that Donald Trump is telling the truth. A lot of them just don't want to come out and say it. They don't want to come out. They know Donald Trump is right, but they can't. They don't want to get themselves on camera saying Trump is right. They want to, play like they're going against him when they know what he's saying is right. And Joe Biden don't know what he's doing. The reason why they are telling him he need to get up out of office. He don't need to run. He don't need to run because they already know he's going to lose. He already losing by a landslide in the polls right now. Creepy Joe gotta go.
What's a strength? Unity. This emphasis on diversity for diversity's sake has been an utter failure of a societal experiment. And it's really no wonder why. We live in an open, free society. You know, we have cultural and societal standards here. And you would expect in terms of immigration that we would apply those standards. But we don't. Again, thanks to liberal naivete. You know, this, everything's gonna be fine kind of mentality, but obviously there's a cultural disconnect, especially when it comes to radical fundamental Islam. I'm not talking about Islam as a whole, but rather those who have formed their ideology from a very extreme, very literal, fundamental interpretation of the Quran. I mean, who thought it was a good idea to open the borders to a group of people who legitimately hate us and want nothing to do with us? And probably a better question is, when did it become our responsibility to take in everyone, no questions asked? Why is it our responsibility? Again, another common sense question to ask, which surprisingly enough, even Jake Tapper at CNN is asking that same question.
What about the innocent Palestinians? Can they get out? Yeah. Right? The women, the children, right. the elderly, how can they get out? That still has not been figured out.
No.
Egypt does not want to open the Rafah crossing.
They're refusing to.
They don't, right. Egypt, Jordan, I mean, Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, all these countries that that talk about how much they care about the Palestinians, they could help right now. They could help the Palestinians escape. They could help. They could say, okay, stop bombing, and we will go in there, and we will help Gaza like become a thriving society. They could do all sorts of things. They have money, by the way.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
where are they?
And it's the exact same situation. That right there, that's basically a Trump talking point. That is a conservative, nationalistic talking point. That is something.
See, that's the point we get into now. They taking Trump talking points. Trump been preaching this for the longest. Almost every interview, he's been preaching this stuff. He's been preaching it and saying it over and over again. Trump literally said, he said, when I get back in office and become president again, I would not let any of this stupidity that Biden is letting happen. It would not happen when I'm back in office. Just like Trump said, there wasn't no wars or anything when I was in office. Since Biden been in office, I mean, the country just went to straight hell. The man is funding Ukraine, sending money, all the money and stuff over there. Like, come on, man. Anybody can see this. That Joe Biden is just corrupt. He got to go. And I'm going to keep saying that.
I and many others have been saying for years. Supposedly, we're extremist bigots for asking that exact question, but now all of a sudden it's politically correct. It's this very weird phenomenon where if the right says it and it's pure common sense, we get gaslit into oblivion, but when the left says it, they're applauded and celebrated. It's a great question. You know, what's the expectation now? It seems like the Israeli government wants to carpet bomb Palestine back to the Stone Ages. Well, what's that going to produce? It's going to produce hundreds of thousands of refugees. Are we now expected in the Western world to open our borders? Why would that be the expectation when Egypt, Jordan, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia all exist in the direct vicinity? We're constantly hearing about how rich and affluent these countries are. I mean, they got oil money coming out the wazoo. Why is the expectation that we should open our borders, yet the Arab world wants nothing to do with people fleeing violence in the Middle East? After the war in Syria happened, we saw the exact same thing. Wealthy neighboring Arab countries pretty much took in no one. Meanwhile, Europe's southern coast was flooded with millions of people. It is the exact same repeating cycle. We have been warning, but our warnings have fallen on deaf ears. They have been ignored. But then, of course, when shit hits the fan, all of a sudden, our rhetoric, which was deemed politically correct, extreme, xenophobic, bigoted, racist, whatever it is, all of a sudden becomes the mainstream, becomes the norm. It's the same thing every single time. Close the border, protect domestic interest, protect American citizens, and protect American culture. That's not racist policy. That's basic frickin' common sense. It turns out, once again, Donald Trump was right. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed.
Once again, Donald Trump was right. Just like we've been saying for the longest, close the border, stop these folks from coming in. But obviously, Joe Biden didn't care at the moment. That's the reason why all of them was getting up in here. And Trump been preaching this for the longest, and now they want to take Trump talking points. They want to take his talking points now. So now they starting to wake up. Now they starting to see the truth that's coming from Donald Trump. Just like the title say, even Joe Rogan can see the obvious truth now. Won't somebody go ask Joe Rogan when he gonna interview Donald Trump? Ask him if he gonna ever interview him. I wonder would that ever happen. But like I said, y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about this. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.